So we're over here at Kotaku. Never take what Kotaku says seriously. They're a fucking joke of an outlet, and they're pretty leaning one side. They over exaggerate things. They don't give full facts. But I saw this on Twitter. So Nintendo thanks feds for sending hacker to prison for 3 years. The house that Mario built continues to show zero mercy towards folk who facilitate piracy. I mean, yeah. I mean, we all take part in it. I mean, especially back in the day, Pirate Bay, LimeWire. You guys remember LimeWire? Fuck LimeWire. And then a safer version came out called FrostWire. I don't know if it's still around. But I think there was Morpheus, I believe. It was the other one named. Well, the other one was named Morpheus, right? I didn't like Morpheus. It took way too fucking long. There weren't that many seeders on there, so LimeWire was the one to go to. But LimeWire, yeah, if you use it, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, they're trying to act like Nintendo just sent a poor, innocent little hacker to jail. Let's continue reading. Recently indicted Nintendo hacker Gary Bowser. That's right, his name is fucking Gary Bowser. Let's just remove the Bowser or the Gary part. We now know who is truly behind this attack. Has been handed a 40 months prison sentence by the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Washington for creating and selling. Keep that in mind. Selling console hacking software and devices used to play pirated Nintendo Switch games. This is according to a Victory Lap style press release published by Nintendo this afternoon that dedicates much of its word count to praising American law enforcement. We've included the full context below, blah, blah, blah. Nintendo appreciates the hard work and tireless efforts of federal prosecutors and law enforcement agencies to curb illegal activities on a global scale that causes serious harm to Nintendo and the video game industry. In particular, Nintendo would like to thank the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security, and the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, Homeland Security Investigation. Why was I read that twice? And the Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington, and the U.S. Department of Justice's Computer Crime and Intellectual Property Section. Oh my God. And the Justice Department's Office of International Affairs for significant contribution and assistance. The U.S. government prosecution argued in court documents filed last week that his name is fucking Bowser. That Bowser was the public face of a criminal enterprise known as Team Executor. I don't know if they have a website, maybe. Estimating that the group's actions resulted in $65 million in losses for Nintendo. These statistics are usually questionable and suggesting 5 years in prison as punishment. His name is fucking Bowser, which not to be confused with the president of Nintendo right now, Doug Bowser. So he's cool. He's not a criminal. He's just a guy who loves Nintendo, who just happens to have the last name of Bowser. King Koopa himself. Bowser's defense, on the other hand, claimed he was the least culpable of the 3 arrested members, and was only being used to send a message. Because his co-defendants reside in countries that may not extradite them. Bowser also agreed to pay Nintendo a sum of $10 million during a separate civil case that was settled in December 2021. I don't know what to say here. I know we've made light of the situation, this whole thing because of the dude's name, but it sure seems excessive that he's losing 3 years of his life due to selling video game mod chips. And then the person here, for context, before people go up in arms and say evil company, this guy was selling ROMs and implementing DRM measures, making pirated copies of their ROM, making pirated copies for their ROMs with brick consoles. So basically, this guy was making basically the Switch. It would have to connect to like the internet and stuff like that, and that'd be like the only way to play the games. So this guy was making, fucking with the system to where that wasn't in place anymore. But breaking consoles, basically, it also killed the Switch. It was a kill switch, I dare say. It was fucking up people's systems, which is considered destruction of property, which is a crime. Also, selling ROMs. You don't sell ROMs. If you're gonna have ROMs, you do it for free. I mean, you can have a site and pay for the site that hosts ROMs, but you're not gonna sell the ROMs for any. So you're not gonna, have anyone pay anything for these ROMs because that's illegal. So it's not like Nintendo's just like, oh, we're just gonna, send this guy to jail. No, he committed a fucking crime and multiple counts of it. It doesn't say how many people. The guy wanted to make ROM NFTs. He should go to jail just for that. This NFT thing is out of control and it's fucking stupid. I saw a game come out that's coming out or something that's basically like one big NFT. I think it's made Unreal Engine, but it basically looks like World of Warcraft, but it's NFTs, like the weapons, everything. NFTs everywhere. So that guy should go to jail just for that. For fucking this bullshit right here. But yeah, you because okay, so if you want to make a ROM, there's nothing wrong with making a ROM, but they're like, oh well, you need the copy because you take the copy of what you have and you dump that onto your computer, make a ROM. And there are sites obviously that have host sites that have the ROMs available for download. You don't have to pay for them. But when you're pirating other people's shit and then you're making other people pay for it, so not only was he making you pay for the ROMs, or not just him, this group, not only are you paying for the ROMs, which is illegal, you're also having this dude fuck with your console, which is essentially destroying it, which is destruction of property, which is also illegal. And if it was just one or two people, but they said that, just assume that number was right, up in the millions of dollars of lost profit. That means he did this to a shit ton of people. That is a crime. Imagine how many people have had their switches destroyed. I mean, obviously blame also goes on them because these guys aren't responsible completely. They were performing a service, an illegal service, but a service nonetheless. Other people willingly and knowingly gave these guys their consoles to pirate games. So they're also at fault. But of course, the people aren't the ones who did it, aren't going to be identified. They're not going to go after that many fucking people. They're going after the group that actually performed the deed. So in the end, you have these people, these gamers or whatever, who wanted to alter their Switch console to be able to pirate games, bought ROMs, which you can't do, had their ROMs fucked with by this group, and then they found out, oh hey, my Switch doesn't work anymore. I mean, 4 years. I mean, that's... Also, this is fucking Kotaku. Of course they want to have a headline to anger you. It doesn't anger me. It doesn't. I mean, hacking... If you just saw hacker, I have no problem with hackers going to jail, especially when it could possibly, if they're intelligent enough and skilled enough, where it can cause national security threat. Yeah, I have no problem with hackers going to jail. No, so Kotaku can just go shove it. Also, keep in mind Nintendo was the biggest. Keep in mind Nintendo was the biggest thing this guy did. if this was Sony or Microsoft, you bet they would have stomped his ass out as well. Okay, so he's got a few more things to clarify. Tweet is getting more attention, so saves for my feed. I'm going to mute this now. I highly recommend reading the case beyond just Kotaku's article, which sort of misses a few points in the case. This is a pretty deep case, and I'm sure we're going to hear even more details about it later. Gary Bowser, blah, 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 sentence 40 months. Conspiracy to circumvent technological measures and to traffic circumvention devices and trafficking and circumvention devices, both of which are federal felonies in the U.S. So there you go. It's not like Nintendo is sentencing 4 years to someone who fucking made a mod of their game. It's not like they're going after Kaze or anything. Kaze, however you pronounce it. It's not like they're doing that. They're going after someone who is breaking the fucking rules, the law. Some things that are felonies. So they're not going after some little fucking kid who's like, I'm gonna make a Super Mario 64 mod. No, these dudes are legit fucking hackers. Why did Nintendo praise the FBI? Well, pretty sure it's more of the case of just saying thank you and not throwing them afraid like most people are thinking. There was a crime on their devices and it was stopped. Pretty sure it'd be rude not to thank people who helped you. Exactly. So if you have the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and all these other groups help you, and then they catch the person who's doing this, what's Nintendo gonna do? Okay guys, back to work. No, they're gonna thank them. They're not, like I said, they're not throwing them a parade. They're not partying in the streets. They're thanking them. They're not singing their praises among high. No, they're saying thanks. There is someone fucking with our systems and with our consoles and breaking the law and selling ROMs to people and destroying people's consoles. Thank you for the help. People are fucking stupid. This is also why some people just shouldn't read Kotaku. Like I said, Kotaku is shit. They really are. They're not. They used to be a reputable site, an outlet. Now they're just a fucking joke. No one likes Kotaku. Same thing with IGN and all of them. They're just a fucking joke now. DRM. Long story short, think of this. You have to connect to the internet 24/7 in order to play said game. If not, then a lock will keep you from playing. In this case, on his ROMs, if you downloaded it without purchasing it from him, it would break the system, aka killing it pretty much. Exactly. I mean, stuff like that has been going on forever. You'll have people send in Nintendo 64s still to certain games because each console has a chip that kind of piracy and this and that they have in place. They send certain checks when you start the game up, and certain points during the game they have checks. That's why you can look at pirated games. One of the biggest one is Earthbound. That game was set in place with certain checks, and once it detects that your game is pirated, it fucks you up. It's you're not able to save the game, or I think if you do save the game and you come back, your save file's gone. The game gets a lot harder. So just things to kind of prevent you from doing it because you pirated it. Because not only the console, but also the game has checks to make sure that it's the right version, the right region, make sure nothing's been fucked with. But then people go in and block those and remove those in order to play them. I mean, I think there are consoles out that play those pirated games. They'll have it'll be a multi-platform kind of thing. I mean, normally you can just do that with emulators, but the fact that the dude's selling ROMs, you can't do that. You can't. That's against the law. You're taking someone else's, content, i.e., in this case, Nintendo games, and you're selling them. You can't do that. And then, like I said, destroying people's consoles by trying to, make it to where that whole internet thing isn't an issue. So, destruction of property, selling someone else's intellectual property, hacking just in general. They're going after a poor little 8-year-old who just wants to make Super Mario 64 ROM hacks. Oh, he just wanted to live his dream. No, that's not they're going after. They're not going after a fucking 8-year-old who's making Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time mods. They're going after a dude who's a real threat here. Because like I said, it could start with this, but if they have a certain amount of knowledge, what's stopping them from going even higher? I don't see any modders getting arrested. They might have their project shut down, but they're not being arrested. But what do you know? Anyway, I just think it's funny the guy's last name is Bowser. It's a fucking Bowser. It's always a fucking Bowser. Anyway, yeah. That's gonna do it for me. Kotaku can go fuck itself. It's like the fucking gaming version of, CNN or something. They just misinformation, clickbaiting, false information. Like I said, they used to be reputable. I remember reading Kotaku all the time and finding their articles pretty insightful, pretty informative. Now they're just a fucking joke. No one takes Kotaku seriously except for people on that side. So, that side of the gamers who still think Kotaku is a reputable site, an outlet. Fucking. Yeah, I'm done here. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.